Now that our basics are covered, let's talk about some slightly more advanced skills. A lot of coaches refer to these as your tools in your toolbox. They're there for you to use, you don't have to use them all the time. A lot of it depends on what kind of goalie you are. For slightly larger goalies, such as myself, you guys are going to tend to use slightly more smothering techniques, things that take up more space, that take less finesse, and you're able to just cover as much ground as possible. For goalies such as myself, that's not really possible. The name of my game is speed. I have zero margin for error, so it's got to be very, very good, or else I'm beat. So the first skill that we're going to show is the stack. In the past, it's been taught as a big goalie skill, causing a lot of destruction, taking up a lot of space. But it's once you go down in a stack, if you don't get a good clear on that, you're on the ground, ball's up at the top, somebody's ready to tee off. With the way that the game's progressed, we don't really have time for that. Alright, in indoor, it's a different story. If you want to stack and take up as much space as possible, fair game. On wet AstroTurf, we're going to talk about stack as a stealth move. For most ground skills, I like to put a time limit on it. Because if you're traveling for more than 3 seconds, especially at the pace of play these days, the kid's going to pull around you and it's going to be a goal. So 3 seconds, I look at time and distance is pretty much the same. If I'm standing here in my cage, covering okay ankles, 3 seconds is from me to the stroke mark, and that's a little generous. It's probably 3.5 seconds. I've got to be able to execute my ground skill within that time, or there's no point in doing it. Okay? So a stealth move has to occur in a very short amount of time. We'll go ahead and show you the stack. Okay, the stack. It needs to be tight. You need to be compact. You've got to use your momentum and flow through the ball, to and through it, and hop right back on up. Let me demonstrate first how it's frequently done and kind of the awkwardness that ensues. Craziness! I can't even see the ball. You can't even see me. This is horrible. How am I supposed to save a ball like this? Or if you get lucky, you actually stop the ball and they score, regardless. That is the perfect example of how not to stack. You may have success once. These field players are going to figure you out and make you pay, so you got to stay sharp. Really important is when I'm going into a stack, I think of pretty much only 2 things. I want to line my right shin up with the line of the ball. A lot of kids try to line their shins up with the player, or their bodies up with the player and take her out. That's not how it's done. Right shin up with the ball. Next, I work really hard on trying to squeeze my knees to my chest. That being said, sometimes you guys do it so well, but your hands are back and so you rotate. So, shin to the ball, knees to chest, hands forward to help counteract that spin movement. I'm going to show you again. Kind of slow motion, staying tight in my stack, not worried about getting up right in this moment. Okay, this is how it is. I'm nice and tight. This is here if I need to go big. If I'm doing my job correctly, it's hitting right here, okay? Girls going around me or God knows what. Now I'm going to show you with the pop-up so I can show you how to make this a very efficient move. I'm in, I'm out, I'm up, the ball's out of the circle. If I just stop here, the ball's going to kind of die about 7 to 8 yards in front of me. Make note, at higher speeds it is harder to control your body, so you just need to work on it. Keep pushing your speed until you lose control, get the control back, and push your speed again. Back up. What I don't love is that my stick hand went down. I'd like to keep that off the ground if at all possible, so that way I have no drag whatsoever. I'll show you one more time. Notice, I'm not starting in a staggered running position. You don't play like that in a game. You're in your ready position. As soon as you identify the moment you need to go, you got to fire out of that. Ready? Go! Down, up. Ready to go for the second shot. From this angle, I'm just going to stay down for a second, let you see how compact my pads are. The next time through, I'm going to pop up pretty quickly. This is not how you do it. I just want you to see the actual form, freezing it in the moment at the point of impact. Okay? Notice my hips started to rotate a little bit, so I really need to squeeze my core and be more upright. Notice my pads cover a lot of me. Okay, very stealth, because there's not a lot of space, not a lot of room for air. Okay. Let's try that one more time, staying tight, and then we'll pop up. Not awful. Still don't love that my hand was down, but still a pretty decent block. Let's go one more time. Holding it, don't love the rotation, but I'm very compact and tight right now. Let's try it again. Not awful. Obviously at game speed it's going to be a little bit faster than that. Let's try and go a little bit faster with the pop-up now. Need to get this guy off the ground. One more time. Push my legs out a little bit more in front of me. Get my hand off the ground, that'll be okay. That should have occurred in under 3 seconds. Alright, so that was a stack. A quick stealth move. For me, I feel like I'm being incredibly slow on that, but when you look at it in real time, it's okay. That's because my game relies heavily on being quick and fast, because I really don't have much else to bring to the table in terms of size. For those of you that speed and stealth isn't exactly your strong suit, but size is, I'm going to give you a skill that kind of plays into that favor, okay? We call this the smother. I believe it's come over from overseas with some of the international males. They're quite large, and sometimes with the three-dimensional skills that the attackers bring with them, you can't always stay compact. You've got to be big and be able to cover things on the ground and off the ground. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to back up, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the ground, and then I'm going to show you execution of it. The key here is to take up as much space as possible and still be mobile enough to make a save on a quick maneuver, okay? I am taking 5 feet of my legs and trying to stretch them as much laterally as possible without giving up the aerial ball. Coming out, I'm nice and square. It's going to take a little bit of core strength, a little hip flexibility. My hands are up, ready to roll, and I can possibly pop up from this. Right now, I would have to say, you can do this to either side. This side, I'm a little bit tighter on my right hip, so I'm most likely going to do it to my other side. Line up the ball, I'm going to go ahead and say let's try and go with our belly button to the ball, so that way we have an equal chance of getting the ball. If we go to one side or the other and we overplay it, they're going to burn us to the other side. Let's make sure that we're midline. Giving ourselves a 50-50 chance on either side of the ball to make the save. The smother is not a stealthy skill. You're not able to get up super quickly like the stack. I'm going to show you the execution down into the ground point. I'm going to hold it for a second. Execute pretty quickly. I need to push this guy out, try to be a little bit bigger. My hands are nice and up and I can see the ball, I can see what's in front of me. So if somebody tries to put a little quick flick on me, I got it. If they try to drive through me, my legs are here. Okay, let's try that 1 or 2 more times. The key element here is try to keep your weight forward. If you let yourself go back, you lose sight of the ball, and if you get a touch on it, it could go in the back of the cage, okay? So lean it nice and forward, with all your weight traveling to and through the ball. That's how you're going to come up with it. If you just stop dead on the ball, you're in a bad way. Last one. This next one I'm actually going to get from it properly. Here. And then you just tuck, and we're up, ready to play. This next ground skill that I'm going to show you is for a 50-50 ball. Prevent the attacker from even getting the ball. Once they get their stick on the ball in the circle, their odds of scoring a goal go a lot higher, okay? So this skill is called a punch clear. Any loose balls in the circle, let's say it's a bad clear off your pads initially, and you've got time to get to it, get to it. If it's a ball that somehow trickles in the circle, defense is making a move, attack is running onto it, and you think you have a chance, you go after it, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle, I'm going to show you punch clear out to my right side. Ideally, you want to be able to punch clear to either side, so that way you're not trying to change up your feet at the last second. Actually, while I still have you, let's talk through the technique of it. A punch clear, it's really important that you do not hit the ground prior to making the clear. Basically, the form leading up to a punch clear is just like that of an instep clear. You're transferring your weight. Your foot is way out in front of you. Now, instead of having your weight back, you're stepping to the ball as if it's going to be an overextended instep clear. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to let your momentum carry you through. You make the clear. The point of impact is with the instep of your blocker, not the bottom of your foot. So You make the point of impact and then you let your hips carry you through. I'm glad you on up, okay? So I'm going to do about 2 where I'm on the ground and I just hold it so you can see the form. Then I'll show you about 2 where I pop up quickly and show you how I'm prepared again for the next move. Identify this ball. Go. Punch clear, weights forward. Hands should fly before it as well. I thought I didn't need that to slow me down a little bit. Let's try that again. I'm going to try to cover a little bit more ground in just as much time. Weight still back. You really got to keep your hands forward. Keep your body weight forward. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop up, and you can see how momentum carries me forward. Up and ready. There we go. My core is a little old and weak. I should be able to pop up without relying on this guy. Good news is most of my momentum stayed in the same line. By leaning out to the side, it pulls any of my power a little bit over here, so I'm not getting a full 100% forward. In an ideal world, everything's going forward, everything's going through the ball.